Hello all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Aislinn. Today we're keeping it short and sweet because I got places to be, as in I need to go eat because I'm hungry. So I'm gonna talk about the 5 books that I have to read by the end of the year, because now that we only have about 3.5 months left, I've realized all the fucking books that I have not gotten to that I said, oh, I'm gonna read that in 2020. I'm running out of time. So I wanted to do this to, 1, hold myself accountable, and 2, share it with you so you can know what I'm supposed to be reading, and then you can also hold me accountable, because you know, all's better when I have someone to check in on me and be like, hey, have you fucking read that book yet? That'd be great, thank you. So I'm just gonna let you know about these 5 books that I absolutely have to get to before the end of 2020. There are other books that I also feel I have to get to before the end of 2020, but these are like top of the priority list based on when I purchased them and my initial excitement for them and any other factors surrounding that. Number 1, the first book that I absolutely have to get to by the end of this year is The Barrel Thieves by Sherry DeMaline, because I have owned this for a minimum of 2 years. At this point, I might as well just call myself a fake fan, because I always say I love Sherry DeMaline. She's so amazing. I love her writing, and it's true because I have read some other shorter pieces from her. I have read the first chapter of this because it was originally a short story. Well, she was a writer in residence at my university for a year. I took a class where every week a different Canadian author would come in and talk about their experience being published and writing and tips and tricks. It was very interesting, and she was actually one of the ones that came in to do a talk since she was at the university already, you know? And she was so funny and genuine, and just her approach to writing resonated with mine. So I am a fan of hers. So I absolutely have to read this because it's been almost 2 years since I saw her speak, which is really crazy to think about. It's just one of those ones where I've been so excited once I bought it, and then it just gets delayed based on me because I'm a fool and just push books back. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Want by Cindy Pon, which is a young adult sci-fi kind of thriller, but I don't think it's really a thriller. It's maybe more of a heist type thing. I've been trying to read this book for 2 or 3 years. Like, there is a bookmark in it. I've restarted it twice, but it has nothing to do with the book. It has everything to do with me, and I was just trying to read it at the wrong time. I was either way too busy and distracted because of school, or I just wasn't in the right mindset for sci-fi. And it's set in like a futuristic, I think it's Taiwan, I can't remember, but I know I have a feeling I am gonna love this book, because I've always been so intrigued by the synopsis from the amount that I have read. This is at 133 pages. I've been enjoying it, and I love the characters. So joke's on me. I just need to get it done, but not because I have to check it off because I'm a fool. I honestly don't know if I have an answer for why I haven't read it, other than what I've already said, which is wrong time, too busy, too distracted. I also didn't read that much in university. I only really read for class. I would read a bit in the summers when I was just working, but not as much as I have been the past even year. If I don't read this by the end of the year, you have permission to yell at me. The 3rd book that I have to get to is The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. I have had this on my list to read again for at least a year. I actually started reading the ebook of this last summer, but it was through Libby on my library, and I knew I wasn't gonna finish it in time, and there was like a bajillion holds on it, and I wanted to read a physical copy because that type of book for me, where I just can't read it on an ebook, I need to have it in the book like laid out. And I bought this last year. I believe I bought this at a sci-fi fantasy bookstore with Emily, but I could be wrong and I could be misremembering that, but I'm pretty sure I was with her when I bought it. I know she's read it and really enjoyed it. Tons of people have read this and really enjoyed it. Again, because I had started it. For what I had read, I was loving it and enjoying it, so I know I'm gonna love this book. It's just been, I've just put it off. I think I'm also intimidated by this because it's a series and, you know, each book is quite large. And the writing is so intricate. Do you know, have you ever been so scared that your socks are gonna be blown off that you just put off reading a book? Because that's kind of how I feel, you know? Like, I know no other fantasy is gonna probably be the same after reading N.K. Jemisin, but I'm just, I don't want to ruin everything else for me, but it's probably going to, and I just have to accept that. So, again, on me, my fault and my problem. I have to read this. The next one that I absolutely have to get to by the end of 2020 is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, because I read Scythe, I think it will be a year ago in November, maybe October, and I immediately bought the sequel after and was like, oh, I'm gonna read this right away, and I have it. So, and now that The Toll is out, which is the final book in the trilogy, I don't really have an excuse anymore, as the way it goes. So I am pretty lucky in that I remember most of what happened in Scythe, so I may just have to refresh. I might just go back and read the last couple chapters just to remind myself fully of the ending, but I remember there was a cliffhanger, and that's why I so immediately wanted to read this, and it's been almost 12 months and I haven't. So I'm gonna make sure I read this by the end of 2020, and then if I get to The Toll by the end of next year, you know, I'll call that an achievement, because really we know I'm not gonna read it for a while, because that's just the way she go. We gotta get to this one. And then the last one that I absolutely have to get to by the end of the year is Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski. This one, I feel like, if you know me and my reading lists, which you probably don't, is a bit of a different choice because it hasn't actually been on my TBR for that long. I read The Last Wish last fall, I think, because I remember I was commuting. I specifically remember reading it on the train and standing there holding a pole, like, with commuter traffic, everybody breathing on me. Oh, what a time we used to live in. Because I want to get to the actual series, because this is like the second prequel. It goes, The Last Wish is book 0.5, this is apparently 0.75, and then The Blood of Elves is the first book in the actual series. So I just would like to get to the actual series, you know? I know this is still part of the series, but I would like to get to the actual full series and not just the prequels, because this is the prequel. I have been, like, The Witcher has been on my list in various forms for a while. Originally it was the video game. I do now own The Witcher 3 video game on PS4. I haven't played it, but because I wanted to read it first. And then I've started The Witcher season 1 on Netflix. I haven't even finished that. So I'm terrible with watching Netflix and shows in general. I will binge something and then won't watch anything for like a month or 2 months and then go back and binge. I watch a lot of YouTube. That's basically the extent of my watching. Or like, I started New Girl. I'm on the season finale of season 1 and I haven't finished it. Why am I like this? So, you know, my excuse is once I finish this, then I can finish the Witcher season 1 show. But like, it doesn't matter. I've already been spoiled for like what is in here based on the show, because the show is based on, season 1 is based on The Last Witch and this. What am I doing? I just don't like things to end. I don't like endings. I don't want it to be over. I don't want to know that nothing is coming afterward. This is why I put off reading Blood of Olympus when it came out. This is why I still haven't seen the third How to Train Your Dragon movie, even though it's like my favorite movie franchise. I love it so much. This is why I have multiple shows on Netflix that I have started and have not finished, because I don't want them to end, because I don't know if they're getting another season. It's fine. If I get to this by the end of 2020, it will be a miracle, but you're gonna make me, because again, you have permission to yell at me or just confiscate all my other books, I guess. You could come to my house and take them and then give them back to me once I do read it, because you don't get to keep them. They're for me. I also just love Geralt, okay? What a chaotic man he is. But those are the 5 books that I have to read by the end of the year. It will happen. I'm manifesting it right now. It will happen. Because if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to get real strict about how I do my TBR and what I read on my TBR, because this is getting out of control. Let me know what book you absolutely have to get to by the end of the year, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!